Hello, everybody. Welcome to SketchCraft Live. I'm Rob Duenas, graphic artist Esquire, and if you be joining in for the very first time, then you should damn well know, you should, every week or month or so, we talk about art, movie, and comic-related news stuff chosen either by us or you, the audience. Joining in today is Brandon Mega Potato James. Say hello.
That's me. Hey,
That's
hi.
you. That's Brandon. That's Mega Potato. How you doing?
Yay.
Yeah, you do this, right?
Oh, look at me. I'm some fucking French fries.
Yeah, that's right. That's you.
That's fantastic.
Also joining in is Ashley West from GangFeather.com. Ashley, say hello.
Hello.
Alrighty. So we got some topics. We got SketchCraft news we're going to be talking about. We got a bunch of other random shit and maybe some Suicide Squad. And I think Brandon conjured up a couple of bullshit topics before we started. So we'll get to all that and more on today's episode 42, SketchCraft Live. So let's move right into it. Now, Brandon, we're on episode 42 now. We're getting eerily close to the last time I quit the podcast, which was episode 56.
All right.
So I'm waiting to see if I get there.
see if we can break the old record.
Let's see if we get to episode 56, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Like, fuck YouTube. It's possible. Today I had someone ask me why, if I hadn't thought about streaming onto Twitch and then uploading the videos into YouTube. And I had to break that down into it's almost like a Ross Geller explanation. Like the plan is threefold, right? Like one, uploading videos to YouTube is a monumental pain in the ass. I don't know. You've done that, right?
Oh, I did it many, many times for you.
And so right now, whenever we're doing this podcast, it streams right into YouTube and it saves. So I don't have to do any of that stuff. Especially with long-ass videos, like when I'm drawing, right? The second is Twitch. As far as I can tell, Twitch is like a place where people go and really make a show out of everything. And when I'm drawing, and Ashley, I know you've talked to me about this in the past. When you draw and stream, it's not so much like it's not the how to draw Battletoads show. It's that I happen to be drawing Battletoads and I'm letting you guys in on the process. It's like the difference between I imagine like with the Twitch thing, it'd be more like how to make fucking pizza versus I'm making pizza for a living and then you can hang out with me while I do it.
Right. It's more of a produced show and not just, hey, you're just insight on our life. Like this right here that we're doing right now. This isn't really planned, any of the shit we say or do. We just kind of just fucking wing it and hope it turns out great. And if it doesn't, well,
I blame you.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And then also, 3, here's the thing, folks. If you think there's any one thing you're not doing, and that one thing that you're not doing just happens to be the thing that's holding you back from fame and fortune, it's just not true. There might be a multitude of things, but it can't possibly be that, I'm on everything but Twitch, and that is where the secret money and fame and fortune lies, It just can't be. The YouTube channel is growing. Like, it's actually doing, respectably well. We were at 6,000 viewers at the beginning of the year, and now we're close to 9, so subscribers. Views are pretty much the same, but the subscribers keep growing, so people are subscribing. I don't know what that means. But
thank you to those people. Thank you.
If only I drew more Overwatch characters and League of Legends, and maybe I did this in a halter top and had my boob showing. It might, that's always a possibility. I could definitely do that. Moving right along, let's talk about some Kickstarter news or SketchCraft news. So this past week, I did a cover for Big Dog Inc.'s new Kickstarter, Lights, Camera, Jungle. I'll go ahead and bring this up really quick. So basically, Tom, the guy who owns Big Dog Inc., decided to do a Kickstarter for this new book called Lights, Camera, Jungle, which is, it's kind of like one of those Jungle Girl books, only it takes place in Hollywood, so like the jungle stuff's all fake. You actually see like it's a TV show. It's kind of the idea. So he's going to Kickstarter, and he asked me to do this homage cover. Let's check it out. Boom, this is it right here. This is the final colors. I did all this stuff here live on the SketchCraft channel. Um,
All?
Brandon did the flats. Thank you
That's
for that.
right.
That's right.
Yes.
There's the line arts. There's the inks. And there be the final colors. Now, I took a little trip out to Phoenix for this, figuring I'll hang out with Brandon. And because Brandon's always saying things like, man, if you lived here, we'd hang out more often. And I try to tell Brandon that I'm not really the kind of person you want to hang out with every day. Like, you don't want to do that. I'm, what would you say, Brandon?
You are excitable. You are
Intense.
eccentric.
Yeah.
You're everything you'd want big brother to be. That's how I feel when you're here.
You really appreciate when I sit there and I don't talk, right?
Let's put it this way, when me and Rob were in the car together, there was a couple times where I had to tell him, like, hey man, you're on like level 22 and I need you at like a 7, to the point where I thought he was yelling at me in the car. Like, I'm like, we went and saw a movie and he's sitting there telling me about it. I'm like, dude, I didn't make the fucking movie. Like, I'm sorry, I wasn't there on set, I didn't do it. Can you not yell at me? And he's like, oh, I'm just talking. I'm like, dude, we're in the same car, you're 2 feet away from me. Like, just a little lower. Little lower. Other than that, you're great to be around. There's the times where you're sleeping. Uh,
Uh-huh.
no, but I mean,
Uh-huh.
no.
Uh-huh.
You're fun to hang out with when we're doing art, because that's when you are in your kind of zen moment where you're just chill. You're showing art. You're talking normal. But there's other times where you get pretty hyped. I mean, I thought I was a hyped individual, but you get fucking hyped like a fucking dude on like on a rap concert. Like, just you're the hype man, just jumping all over the place. So I'm done rambling. That's enough, because I like my position here at Sketchcraft. So that's enough.
And how do you copy things in Photoshop, Brandon?
Control C,
And how do you paste?
Control V,
How do you cut?
Control X,
How do you open files?
Control O,
How do you save files?
Control S,
How do you close them?
the little X tab at the top.
Working on that one. Working on it. Brandon didn't
Yeah.
know Control C.
I knew
Brandon looked
Control
at
C. I didn't know.
Brandon
I
looked
didn't know
at that
select.
keyboard the way my puppy looks at broccoli. You know, like I know that I should know this, but I'm
I
not eating
didn't
that.
know. I
Like,
didn't know select all.
you didn't know. You didn't know a lot of things. So it was a fun weekend. It's good to hang out with some
No, I
folks
did not
down
know
there
that.
over at
He's
Big
like
Doug.
hit select. He said hit select all, and I didn't know what to do.
Brandon looked at the keyboard like it didn't exist. So I'm working on that with you.
Pretty much.
Anyhow,
And I
Ashley,
got
how
one for you, Brandon. I got one for you, Brandon. Ready? What's command semicolon? Or
he
control?
doesn't know Apple. He doesn't know Apple.
Control
fuck.
semicolon. Oh, is it different? No, it's got to be the same. It's just control.
And
No,
no, they're not always the same. No.
Really?
no,
Yeah.
no.
Well, I learned a new one. It's command semicolon on the Mac is to get rid of the guides or to show the guides. So,
Yeah, it's same as Control H.
anyways, I love that one because it really comes in handy, especially when you're doing desktop publishing stuff. So,
Yeah, I mean it changes too. Like when I do the Alt Shift Backspace to fill things, that's that shortcut key I gave you, Brandon. Right?
Uh-huh.
There's Alt Shift Backspace and Control Shift. On a Mac, it doesn't even replace the. It's a different thing altogether that I have to sit down and do on the fucking keyboard. So, I remember it didn't work as a 1-to-1 from Mac to PC when I first learned it at this t-shirt company. And they told me it's a feature that's only available on Macs. That's what they told me. And I'm like, that doesn't fucking make any sense. Why would they make it? It's a fucking shortcut key. So I just sat there trying every key until I got it worked out. Because it wasn't in the instructions. I was looking at the hotkey list. So that's what I did this weekend. I went out to Phoenix. I hung out with Big Dog for a few hours. I read Jesse James's comics and promoted the book as best I could. I didn't know what I was there for. Like, I was there to make all the jokes and be that guy who doesn't work for Marvel or DC. That's usually what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
You meet the other artists and they're like, "How come, Rob?" And I'm like, "Cause I hate them." And then it goes bad. It's a bad time. But I did get to hang out with Jim Bermal, who's always fun, and Jeff Pena, who's a good dude, and Tom is a good guy, And a couple people from VegasCon stopped by. Actually, they're like, "Oh shit, you're that dude," and I'm like, "Hey, that dude's right here. How you doing?" So you, they're like, "Yeah, I remember you had those tables." I'm like, "I don't bring those tables with me. Like they don't."
In my pocket.
You're right. I just put them right back here and shit. Like they were like, "You got any prints?" I'm like, "I don't. This is not what
In
this
my
is for."
pocket.
Yeah,
No.
right in my pocket. Just
Crumpled.
you know, I could get like the Inspector Gadget coat, just like pull them out, choo, go gadget prints. So that's what I did this weekend. Ashley, what have you been up to?
Designing trading card type things. Like a lot of, I guess, how do you say it? Like I was saying before, desktop publishing kind of thing, where or I don't know, like I'm creating like comps, which basically deals with a lot of text and kind of like spacing out the text and designing things around the text and making sure that things are balanced and whatnot and trying to make sure that I don't delete my files because I did that today and had to redo my work for the day, which only took me like an hour to do because I remembered everything I did. So it wasn't that bad, but still, it sucks. I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. Anyway, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing, and it's all for my Kickstarter that I'm trying to get going. So,
And you're gonna get
uh,
thousands of likes for that work, right? People are gonna look at that, moving text around, and be really impressed.
I hope. I hope.
No,
That's a lot
but
of
you know, it's necessary evil, right?
It
Like,
is, it is. But it's kind of one of those things where I've been like spending hours on just like, should I do this or should I do that? This or that, and it's stupid. But again, it must be done. So that's what
good
I've been
times.
doing.
Brandon got a nice comment on the Twitters. He got tagged. You want to read it, Brandon?
On yours,
You know,
mine.
Twitter's not just mine. When they tag your name, you get tagged on
Ah, yes, yes, yes. I did not have it. I did not have it readily
there.
available, but
Basically, one of our followers was doing flats, and he was like, "This shit's tedious. Oh my god, you know." And he tagged
good
Brandon.
God, I hate doing flats from O'Neill Dominic, and I said, right, they are the worst, but it must be done. Hashtag art chore
Yeah.
because they suck. They are tedious, and I have so many to do moving forward for all sketchcraft endeavors and game cave and
Yeah, quit
everything
your
that.
complaining. Let's move on. So, something else I've been doing, and I'm going to make a video on this really soon, folks. Let me walk you through 2 videos I've made, and let me talk to you about the future really quick. So, really quickly, on the SketchCraft channel, there are 2 new videos up. We can go right here, my channel, or we can watch the Rick and Morty State of Georgia versus Denver, which is always awesome. We got an artist video, Copic marker buyer's guide. This is the one that all
As I've
these
seen you,
cats have been asking for a while is, Rob, what Copic markers do you use? Well, I actually walk you through all 64 of my markers, and check this shit out right here. I give you all the codes, right? All right here, all the Copic marker codes. And it was so well liked, someone gave it a thumbs down. Motherfucker.
You got it. Sometimes I wonder, did somebody accidentally click the thumbs down? Because one time, I mean, recently I was like listening to this song on YouTube, and I put, I don't know what happened, but I was working out, and I guess I pushed the thumbs down when I wasn't looking, and I was like, oh no! And so I undid it because I was like, I definitely like this video. So maybe I'm like, maybe that happened, and they just never knew. You never know.
I like to think that's because Brandon didn't contribute as much as I'd liked him to. That's what I
pretty
think that
much,
was. That's
I
the Brandon.
slacked on it.
And then the other video I did is art tips, fan help, X-Men silhouettes. This was a fan question where they actually wanted me to look at this pinup that they did. Let's see if I can quickly jump to it. This is their layout. And then I walk through using silhouettes and kind of give them tips on how to break down poses. And actually a nifty little trick I learned or taught myself a long time ago about how to take a front view 3/4 pose, right? And duplicate it. Let's see if I can jump over it. Duplicate the exact same pose and get the reverse side using that as a guide versus doing tons of measurements. So if you want to know a little magic trick, cut to around the 10 or 11 minute mark and you're going to get that. At some point I'm going to have to make that just a video. But that came out really nice, and so we got some good feedback on that. Some people have asked me if I found that. One guy was like, "Do you find that silhouette thing to be hard?" I'm like, "No, that's why I do it, man. Like I don't even get that." So, but we got some new stuff, and then I'm also working on a brand new iPad Pro video. So I got the iPad Pro somewhere around here. It's around here. It's in my bag. And I've been using it for developmental stuff, sketching. And if you go in on the Instagram, there's some speed videos and stuff I've put up on there. So I'll be making a walkthrough on how I use it, pros and cons. If you can replace, is it a Cintiq replacement? I get that question a lot. Yeah, well, we'll get to all that. But that's coming probably. I'll probably make that Wednesday night or Friday night, depending on if Wesley can do the gaming conversation. So, other than that, Brandon, let's take it over to you. What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about contrast and how I suck at it.
It's
And
black, it's white, do, yeah, like that.
exactly.
Okay.
So, we've been working on, you came over and we sat down, we worked a little bit more on this Dark Knight sketch cover I've been working on with a lot of grays and the battle suit and such. And I struggle with pushing the boundaries of contrast as far as push and pull, dark areas, light areas. And I sometimes, and I still, because there hasn't been much time since the last con, but I'm still working on finding that balance of going real dark to real light to push the shapes forward, and I struggle with it, and that's what I've been dealing with this week and working on that sketch cover was just pushing the boundaries of the dark and light, and I don't know. That's just what I've been working on. I don't know how to turn that into a topic other than I suck at it. I need to get better, and I'm sure a lot of people also deal with the same problem of making everything look well lit and not pushing the shadows and the areas the way they should to push body parts and areas forward. So,
What Brandon's trying to say is that he draws everything at a 50% neutral gray, or colors
mhm.
everything at a 50% neutral gray. So a lot of his images are just like surface, right? So it's just like red cape, orange boot, brown hair. And he doesn't know how to use, I'm trying to get him to learn how to take darker colors, like not going from 50 to 70 to 9 to 10, going straight to 10, pushing it
Right.
really dark around the edge, and then adding a little bit of a blend, but really pushing it dark into the shadow areas to pop the lighter shapes forward. I find that, especially in Photoshop, when entry level colorists start coloring their own work, they want to make everything glow or make it 3D. So they just keep adding glows, thinking that that'll do it. And
Right.
all they really need to do is take the things around the thing that they really like and darken around it to create contrast. It's called positive and negative space. And I know it sounds almost like I'm laughing at people when they don't get it, but to be quite honest, I don't think it's explained simply enough. It's kind of like when I asked Brandon to understand what a mask is in Photoshop, and he gets this. He looks like I just asked him what Control C and Control V are, right? Just this window of glaze appears. What's a
Mhm.
mask? And it's a positive and negative value. If you look at we did that art tips video, right, Brandon, with the lighting, like the Bucky O'Hare,
Right. The Bucky O'Hare.
and a lot of that was me saying, look, normally when you grayscale photos of people, they're about a 30 to 40% gray in black and white naturally. And then they go around to a dark edge, and then they have that intense areas of bright white. If you ever look at like digital painters, like Max Grech is a really good digital painter, and you'll see a lot of the tonal stuff. You'll see there are a lot of neutrals, but then there's these sharp areas of shadow, and then these intense areas of brightness of 20%, 30%, or 20%, 15%, 10%, 5% white, and then like little reflections in glossy spots or pure white. And getting your head to sort of work that way it takes a little bit, but I also say it's not just limited to colors. It's animation too. Like if you ever do animation like on a graph is a waveform, right? And when you have animation where someone is like perfectly moving at a steady pace, it just goes like this. It's extremely boring. So what you generally want is to push it more in the back or the front, like you have a fast and then slow down, right? Like that's more interesting to look at versus, or you could do like,
Hey
slow.
Rob,
Yo,
I don't mean to interrupt you. Can I hang up and call you back? I gotta reset this fire alarm.
you go ahead.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna be loud for a minute. Not for a minute, just in a second. So you know.
All
All
right.
right, bye. I mean,
Sure.
not bye. Just hold on.
Her roof is on fire.
The podcast is so good, people. We're setting houses on fucking fire.
Yeah. So we're lighting this up like Brandon's diet. Um, so I just think like in all things creative, you really want to like push the edges of your art, and in the center leave it neutral. Look, listen to that. She didn't even put it on mute. It's amazing. We're doing it live.
It's done.
If you guys haven't been, you should check out Gang Feather at an Instagram. Hashtag smoke alarm problems. It's amazing. Ashley, when you're coloring things, do you know what I'm talking about here? Like in terms of like pushing your shadows super dark, and do you understand what I'm talking about? Or
Yeah,
should
yeah, yeah.
good?
You're saying what do I
Do you have
do?
anything to
Or
add to that?
um, well, most of the time I'm doing this like in pencil. And if I'm doing this in pencil, it always helps to shade with more than one uh darkness of pencil. Like basically, like maybe use an H and then use a B to really get those dark shadows in. And then, like for instance, if you use like a 2B, that's gonna be dark and soft, and like the type of pencil that it is, soft graphite, and it's gonna be dark. And then so that's gonna be like really easy to shade with, and that's great for getting those dark spots. And then to kind of taper off into something light, like switch to an H, like a 2H or 4H,
Yeah, but I
and
would say have like an H, a 2B, and then a 9B. Like don't keep
yeah, I
adding
mean,
little steps. Like you need a giant
yeah. I
leap.
mean, I usually don't use something as dark as a 9B. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I just don't. But yeah, that would definitely work too. Like just again, sudden, like you said, sudden jumps, really help. And also to like if you want to go back in there with an H, kind of like to smooth things out, you can kind of mix the H in with the B's, so I don't, that's what I do.
Hmm.
So, but
Hmm.
I also shade, like I don't really do so much cross hatching when I shade. I do kind of like this circular motion, kind of not circular. I don't know what I mean, it's just it's very very clean, I guess. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
not talking about technique so much as just
yeah. No,
basic
I know. I'm
contrast.
just well, I'm this is
Brandon
me.
also has a really weird way of laying down color. Like, let me show you this. This is we can all just go to this one. This one's interesting to me. So I gave him a lighting guide for this Batman cover. Let's see if I can. They won't let Instagram won't let me zoom in. So, um, and he put how do I say it's like it's like he starts with an inverse where he goes with this basic shade and then leaves all this white and then starts to fill in blacks. It's like your mind almost goes in reverse. Like one would think they'd start with the neutral, leave the highlights, go dark, and then blend out toward the edge. But I'm always interested that you start with this, you know, and then so you don't have another updated pic on there. You just have this video, which I can't play because it has music.
Right.
Um, let's see, like, even when you did this turtle thing here, like you started with these whites and then you went and did the neutral and then I don't know. It's really strange to me, like how that works out.
Right.
I don't know why your mind does that. So I'm trying to like fix that, you know, but uh, it's tough. I think creatively we get into a habit of doing things, and then we just keep doing it. And then if you want to get I don't know, get better isn't the word, but if you want to change your art up, artists tend to just keep doing the same thing, hoping that it will just get better. And sometimes I'm like, you have to completely throw away everything you think you know. Like Yoda, like you have to unlearn what you've learned, and
Right.
I'm trying to get you to unlearn everything that you've like gone and done. Like one of the things I had you do, uh, I've been having you do is this practice of drawing two dots, ghosting, and connecting the line. And I'm like, you need to do that every day. And I think right now you might do it every week. right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So when like you're drawing and you're like, hey Rob, how can I make this look more three dimensional, or how can I get more, confidence in lines adds energy to lines. And when artists aren't confident in their own line work and they kind of carefully kind of go around things and they don't really know what they're doing, it really that energy is transferred into your art. So the way to build up line confidence are techniques like the ghosting. So I was trying to show you when we're over there, like here's how once you know how to do that, how you can line these up, and when you're drawing these lines, you're going to be super confident in how you draw them. You know, and that's going to transfer into the drawing, make it more exciting. These aren't things that how do I say this? It's very difficult to give people a degree in it. I couldn't imagine having a class like, all right, everybody, just draw dots for the next hour. I
Right.
don't know how. I know I did it, especially during math classes in college. I'd just sit there all day doing the dots. But it really is important. And it's not fun, and you're not going to get any likes, and you're not going to get any praise for it. But when you're drawing boots that, angle up to a horizon, a vanishing point, and you can confidently sketch those lines through, it's going to add energy to your art. And then, same with your coloring. Like if you just know how to contrast, like how many times now, I think we're on 3 where I've taken this exact same art you had and just changed it, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Physical art, not digital. Like, okay, give
Yeah.
me a sketch cover, I come back, give you a whole new sketch cover. And it's like, and it came down to like zeroing out things that you did, fixing lighting. So, whew, like you're making progress. Like we're definitely better now than you were a year ago. But I think with you, like we got to focus big time on just basic construction, basic lighting. And I honestly, folks, I'm still working on basic construction and basic lighting. Like I don't really, that doesn't really change. So it's a big thing for me. I want to move right along, and we're gonna wrap this up. Talk a little bit about Suicide Squad. Now, Ashley, did you see this movie this weekend?
I didn't because I got a new puppy, and so that
The
took
puppy
up my time.
excuse.
Oh, come on! All right, hold on. I'm gonna mute it this time.
Brandon, did you see Suicide Squad this weekend?
I did.
think we have a pic, right? Let's see if we have that picture. Oh, look at that. This is Brandon making his stupid face. Let's go check this one out. There's Brandon in his Gerber face. And then me being very happy to go see Suicide Squad. And what is this filter you use? Prisma?
It was just an app, Prisma, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to talk about Suicide Squad
Yeah.
tonight. I thought we'd do an actual video, but that's why I hadn't emailed you.
Well, we'll do another one at some point. But you wrote down so many interesting topics. Thought we'd talk about your impressions.
I bring a lot to the table, to this whole enterprise of SketchCraft. I'm pretty much a, hands-on kind of person.
Okay, I'm back.
All right.
Well, we're not going to do anything in depth. Just tell me if you liked it or didn't like it, Brandon.
I give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Non-spoilers?
Non-spoilers, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Visually, had some great stuff. The beginning arc was pretty good. Didn't care much for the story after the first. What's it called? How they have three acts?
Acts,
I believe.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the first act, I really liked, and then towards the middle and the end, it kind of just fell off for me. So.
Yeah, I'd say it's better than the last 2 seasons of Arrow.
Oh, good.
Because it finished a lot quicker. Like, it took forever to get through. That last season would not stop,
I wonder what had more flashbacks, though, Suicide Squad or Arrow. I mean, there's a lot of flashbacks.
I kind of assumed that there was a lot of flashbacks in Suicide Squad. Of course, I couldn't imagine there not being because, backstory. I mean, I did not see the movie. That's what I predicted. So
There is flashbacks every 10, 15 minutes, I want to say there's a
Yeah.
flashback. It's
Yeah.
just like, I'm walking, there's a
Well,
flashback.
I mean, I knew that Harley. I mean, come on, you can clearly see in the previews that some of that's got to be flashback.
What movie was that where they were doing flashbacks within flashbacks within flashbacks?
The
Inception.
Hulk. The Hulk.
No,
Oh wait,
no, it was a joke. It was like, and then we flashback while we're in the flashback. It's like another level of flashbacks. Like, I remember watching that. Someone out there will will set me straight on that one.
Out of a 10, what do you give it, Rob?
I don't know, between a 5.5 and a 6. You know, it's a C movie, you know? It's a C.
And okay, so again, I haven't seen it, and sorry, I was messing with the fire alarm. Why is it for you a C?
Goal, motivation, conflict. The movie states some goals, gives you very little motivation, and conjures up a useless conflict.
Okay.
You know, and it comes down to goal, motivation, conflict externally, like as a movie, and then internally for the characters. And there's no clear protagonist. You know, there's no change. Things end up right where they start. That's not a spoiler. That's just the way it goes.
Right.
You know, like you want to see characters grow positively or negatively. Like, imagine if you watch Shawshank Redemption, where at the end he just stays in jail. Like, that would be great. We'd watch that. You know, like just goes back. You know, back in jail now. You know, like that's what everyone wants to see. So, it really felt like the world's most expensive TV movie in some ways. You know, like I really felt like this is like the CW with 200 million. You know, so yeah, fourth wall break. There you go, Deadpool. There you go, it's Deadpool. Remember he was talking like I'm in a flashback within a flashback or a fourth wall break. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. So from a much better film, right? So,
Thank you,
but that's
Crusher.
that's because it comes down to goal, motivation, conflict. And again, I've heard, you know, movie was written in 6 weeks, and I'm like, I don't care. They spent 200 million. I don't like at this point. I don't. I gotta be honest, man. Like the movies are
Well,
doing this thing now where I have to weigh one: am I gonna get sick going to the theater? That's a strong. Two: am I gonna get shot? Like that?
yeah,
I don't know.
that's me. That's
It's
me.
almost like being in high school. You know, three, you know, am I going to get graded, right? Like, what do I think about the movie? And if I don't agree with someone else's opinion, then I'm a fucking crazy person.
I think of the Dark Knight, not the Dark Knight. Yes, the Dark Knight. No, sorry, Batman v Superman. I remember that video. You got
21 thumbs downs, you know, it was
jeez.
great, you know. And I gave it three, you know. And so then you that
Yeah.
means you loved it, you're a loser. That means you hated it, you're a loser. And I'm like, fucking whatever. So I think, you know, but however, if I was 15, right, and I'm in 1993, and I'm saddled with Batman Returns, which had like 10 minutes of Batman and a whole bunch of other boring ass shit, I'd rather see this movie. Just in the same way when I was 15, I loved Mortal Kombat. I think this film was like very similar. Like if you love Mortal Kombat, you're gonna love this film. You know, if you're looking for like something that connects the dots, like Aliens 2, right? Where they got to go in there, get something, and here's what they're gonna do, and then when that doesn't work, we're gonna do this and show you what we're gonna do and lay this out, and that's what we're gonna do, and here's how they do it. And then they got this happens, now we got to do this, and they're gonna explain it, and you're gonna be like, it's clear, and you're rooting for people. That ain't your movie. That ain't it at all. Like I'm just trying to figure out where in Hollywood like they just decided they don't have to understand like coverage and how to like explain things. I guess that's how they make things like for the youth. Like to quote Corey Feldman. If you haven't seen that song, you should check it out. What up with the Ute? So I don't know. Like, I really have to appreciate even films like Avatar. And people go, oh, fuck, I don't like it's blue people. I've seen this shit. It's like, well, at least he set up a world in which there's clear goals, right? There's motivation for those goals. And then when there's conflict over competing motivations, they immediately clash. You know where every person is, and then they do battle. So, like that is actually a harder skill set to master than one would think, you know? So, I think for me right now, if you want to know my favorite film I've seen this year in the movie theaters, you want to know what it is? 10
What?
Cloverfield Lane.
Oh,
That is that's
but
my favorite film.
that I thought that was gonna be. It just looked like a good movie, and I don't know, like the way that the previews were, they didn't really. I don't feel like they really revealed what it was really about. I mean, you kind of knew what it was about, but anything could have happened. You know, they could have really. I guess you can do that with any preview,
My
but
second
or
favorite
trailer.
movie is Uncharted 4. That's kind of a cop out, but I'm telling you, it really is. And then maybe Deadpool and Civil War was fun. Yeah, it was fun. Uh, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed 10 Cloverfield Lane. Hoping Kubo comes out in 2 weeks. Hoping that's good. So moving right along. Lastly, Brandon, you wanted to ask about doing breakdowns.
Yeah, I just, some people have asked, whether or not if I'm kind of moving towards your style. I've had a couple friends
My
ask me that.
style.
And, I just tell them
Gainful
that
unemployment. Like
basically the way you draw, the way your characters look. And I just tell them that, the part that I'm now was doing stuff with Sketchcraft, that you do the breakdowns for me. Now you do the silhouettes and the rough lines, and then I go back and polish it up and make the art. And just moving forward, it's going to be easier when you want me to go hand in hand making art for you, besides just doing flats, when I could actually do more and contribute more to it. So, a lot of people just ask, like, oh, some of your stuff's looking like Rob's. I'm like, no, Rob's giving me the roughies, and I'm cleaning them up and making the art. And it's just easier now moving forward, and it helps me in the long run. So,
well, let's show people what I'm talking about. So we'll go here. This was done on the iPad Pro. I did this initial roughie, and then we got a little speed video here where I trace over it. Drawn in Procreate. Cool thing about Procreate is anytime you draw something in there, you can export to a video, and it makes speed videos right for you. So this is a War Machine commission that you will be doing final lines on, right?
correct.
So when I grew up in San Diego, and they used to have Wildstorm Studios down here, Jim Lee's, and a lot of my older friends got internships there. And Jim Lee and all these guys would do breakdowns, where they would do rough sketches of characters, and then everyone else would do cleanup. And that's kind of like your entry level position, and that taught you to draw in the house style, as well as got shit done. I mean, like it's much quicker for me to do this quick thing here and let Brandon, do all the tedious of cleaning it up than me to finish the whole drawing myself. This is me drawing all this stuff. Boom, and we're done. Yeah, this is what I did at Tom's thing while everyone was selling Kickstarter videos. So, so I'm having you do that because I cannot have you. How do I say this? Brandon needs to learn technical stuff and not creative stuff. When you master the technical stuff, then you can get to creating things. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's probably going to be another 5, 7 years of this if you live long enough. Like, I don't know. And I've seen you drink that Mountain Dew. Like, that scares me.
Oh, the devil's juice.
Yeah, I was like, even if you get a glass of wine, it was 2 a.m. I'd been driving all night. Brandon's like, nope. But I'm like, Mountain Dew. And he opens up, pulls out the Mountain Dew, chugs. I'm like, right, you got the Mountain Dew. Like,
Yes.
he's like, you're like a housewife. Glass of wine and chocolate. I'm like, you're like a 12-year-old. Like, Beavis and Butthead. Takes his medication with Mountain Dew. Like, it's wonderful. So, anyhow, but yeah, I know like Kyle was like, oh yeah, Leadcraft or Sketch. No, it's Sketchcraft. Brandon's just sort of. I don't even at this point like I'm calling him Mega Potato because I don't even want to use the lead heavy name anymore. It's kind of pointless.
I don't care.
But
I'm
Brandon's
lead
stuck
heavy.
with
I'm
it.
not Mega Potato.
Oh
It's not
no, you're Mega Potato.
nickname Mega Potato, but
Uh-huh. Matter of fact, I've been thinking about doing a movie rating system where we can do it like on the Tater Rater, right? So like
Nice.
what? Yeah, the nice Tater rating or something like that. Kind of like the stupid version of the tomato meter, where like is it movie mashed or is it like mega? Like right,
actually,
Brandon?
you don't have to laugh at
No,
it
it
like that.
was funny. I laughed because I
Don't
was like,
don't encourage him. No, stop it.
And if you don't understand the plot, maybe it's Chris Cut. Like the plot was Chris Cut. We can name things all in potato. uh, oh, Kyle. Anyhow, then I go, that's just really dumb. But I'll antagonize Brandon with that. So that's all. I'll threaten more potatoisms as we go along. But other than that, that's why I'm having you do it. And is it helping you understand more? Because like I'm not having you draw like me. That isn't the point. The point is having you spend your time rendering the shapes three-dimensionally. Does that make sense? Brandon?
Yes.
Brandon, are
I
you
was
there?
about to answer for him. Sorry.
Is he mad about the potato thing? Brandon? Maybe his Skype cut out. It's possible. You there, Ashley?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Sometimes Brandon's Skype cuts out, so
Okay.
it's possible. Yeah, see, I'm getting the yellow, so his thing might be. What a
Okay.
spud. Oh, shit. Yeah, see? It cut him out. So, it's good timing. Well, it's probably a good place to leave the cast. I got to get to work anyhow. Ashley, is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
Um, you know, no, not right now. I've got plenty that I'll bring up later. Soon. Soon.
Never, ever, ever buy a Dell.
I will not. Wait. Oh my gosh, I may have done that 2 years ago.
He bought the Dell Mobile. It's an
No,
M
not
edition.
not. Well, it
It's
was laptop,
it's
but I
like
had to do it.
Dell's answer to the iMac, you know. And
No, it was an HP. No, I'm good. All right, I'm good.
it's a real shitty computer he's got over there. So anyhow, I got. What are we doing tonight? We are drawing this shit here, Witcher 3 and Rick and Morty. So that's what we're doing here in a minute. And Ashley, you're gonna be on me. Oh, that did not sound right. You're gonna be with me Friday night to talk about video gaming shit, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
we got like a shitload of Nintendo stuff. I told Wesley if you can't make it Friday, then we're talking anyhow. Because I think at this point we're 3 weeks with Nintendo news, and I just
Yeah, you can't hold it anymore. You gotta say something.
so.
So.
All right, where can people find you on the internet?
Find me on Instagram, and I'm Gangfeather.
And you can find Brandon somewhere else, like at Lead Heavy, and you can find me at Sketchcraft. We'll be here next week. Oh man, I gotta work. What's going on with this computer, folks? I'll see you in a hot minute. Talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, and I'd just like to say, if you have a fire alarm that's going off, call me. I'll come and turn it off for you.
And if you want to know how to install Mac drivers, call her. Don't call me because I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See y'all next week. Peace.
Bye.
Brandon. Hey, Brandon, how do you think about that? Mega potato. What a spud.